Registered Phenomena Code 648. Object Class Alpha Orange. Hazard Types: Aggression, Grouped, Extra-dimensional, Emotional, Mind Regression, Organic, Regenerative. Containment Protocols. Due to its nature and frequent visitations by the public, RPC-648 is to be monitored and patrolled by Mobile Specialized Team X-Ray 6 and Mike 9, private property, in attire identical to that of the Hokkaido Prefectural Police Department. A specialized task force assigned to contain anomalous locations. Certain areas of RPC-648 have been restricted from access to prevent civilians from venturing further into RPC-648. Patrols are to be conducted in between 8 AM to 2100 PM. Security personnel are to be on the lookout for any human remains attached to a tree root, which must immediately be destroyed, including the tree attached to it. Missing reports of the deceased are to be filed and falsified to prevent the discovery of RPC-648's anomalous nature to the general public. Security personnel assigned to RPC-648 are to be cycled out on a weekly basis, with mandatory psychological evaluations to be undertaken upon shift completion. Reconnaissance operations within RPC-648 are to be approved by the Expeditionary Reconnaissance Detachment. During these explorations, recon teams are to be comprised by no more than 5 security personnel and must wear a Level C hazardous material suit. Reconnaissance operations in the RPC-648 are to be permanently suspended. See Addendum 648.04. At 2100 PM, patrols are to be conducted at the outskirts of RPC-648 to prevent civilians and hikers from entry during this period of time. In the event that RPC-648 manifests and attempts to influence an RPC-648-A instance to enter RPC-648, personnel are to immediately apprehend and detain said instances until further notice. However, should an RPC-648-A instance become an immediate threat, security personnel are authorized to use deadly force. CCTV cameras and motion detectors are placed within the proximity of the shrine to monitor RPC-648-3's activities, and public access to the shrine is to be restricted. In addition, security personnel are to avoid RPC-648-3 under any and all circumstances. Description: RPC-648 is a large forest that measures 82 km squared, on the northwestern flank of Iwamizawa, in the Hokkaido Prefecture of Japan. The Japanese government initially contacted the authorities' Japanese branch following an increase of disappearances and death occurring within the forest, and an incident where investigators from the National Police Agency Security Bureau were found deceased a month after the National Public Safety Commission issued inquiries. See Addendum 648.01. While the exact nature of the locations of knowledge property remains unclear, RPC-648 has been observed to manifest when certain individuals, designated as RPC-648-A, with a history of psychological trauma, come within proximity of RPC-648. When exposed to the environment, RPC-648-A instances will enter a brief stage of semi-consciousness, where they will enter RPC-648 within the late evening hours, and approach an RPC-648-2 instance. Once approached, RPC-648-A instances will then lay before the trunk of RPC-648-2s, before being hoisted by one of its roots and terminated via neck snapping. When an unaffected subject interrupts an RPC-648-A in any way, RPC-648-A will enter an agitated and hostile state and attempt to kill the subject disrupting them through any available means, up to forcibly pulling the subject towards an RPC-648-2 instance. According to previous observations, indigenous wildlife found within RPC-648 do not appear to be targeted for termination and consumption by RPC-648-2 instances. It is important to note that previously exposed subjects towards RPC-648 that had no previous history of trauma will begin to gradually develop acute stress disorder, ASD, with prolonged exposure to the environment of RPC-648. RPC-648-2 refers to an anomalous variant of a coniferous tree species, Picea alcoquiana, found only within RPC-648. When an RPC-648A instance expires, RPC-648-2 uses their roots and branches to latch onto the deceased skin of an RPC-648-A instance, consuming the corpse as a nutritional source through absorption. Within 3 to 4 hours, the corpse decomposition rate severely increases, and the vital organs and skin tissues would be absorbed, leaving nothing but skeletal remains. RPC-648-2 instances are capable of replicating multiple instances through unknown means. It has been determined that additional RPC-648A instances are created after the absorption process of an RPC-648A instance, but the time of replication varies between a day to a week. RPC-648-3 refers to an unknown, extra-dimensional female entity located within the Kawajiri Shrine. The subject is often encountered within the area of the shrine, and is seen wearing a tattered old Japanese traditional outfit. Damage upon its clothing appears indicative of slash marks. RPC-648-3 does not manifest in broad daylight, beginning to appear after 2100. When any person encounters RPC-648-3 within the proximity of the shrine, the subject will immediately attack said person with an old katana that appears to be covered in a mixture of rust and human blood. Further information in regards to RPC-648-3 is unavailable. Electronic devices, including flashlights and communication equipment, are affected by certain magnetic field hotspots within RPC-648. These hotspots also affect thermal and low-light imaging devices, to which any devices brought into a magnetic field is immediately drained of all battery charge. Addendum 648.01 Discovery. On May 9, 1982, the Hokkaido Prefectural Police Department carried out a series of investigations of suspicious disappearances and increase in missing reports in the city of Iwamizawa. Police investigators deduced that many of the missing people were last seen at the Kawajiri Forest. When investigators finally searched the area, they discovered numerous human remains, but could not identify the corpses. Police investigations continued until February 28, when 2 unnamed police officers went missing. A week later, the investigation concluded the case is unsolved, which resulted in the Hokkaido Police Commissioner to order discontinuation of the investigation. The case was eventually handed over to the National Police Agency Security Bureau. Japan's Police Bureau, charged with national-level internal security affairs, including anomalous affairs. On July 14th, following public scrutiny of the government's lack of actions on the increase of disappearances, the Japanese government closed the Kawajiri Forest to the public, and established procedures to combat RPC-648's anomalous nature. However, these procedures proved ineffective after 4 investigators from the MPA Security Bureau last reported in of the Kawajiri Shrine, and were subsequently found hanging by RPC-648A's roots. In light of the incident, the Japanese government contacted the authority. Addendum 648.02 History. In the early mid-1800s, the Kawajiri Forest was utilized by various locals, including travelers and cultists, during the Tokugawa period. The forest community flourished under the auspices of cultist leader Daiji Shinrikyo, who followed the practice and spiritual worship of yokai through human sacrifice. Daiji Shinrikyo was the ancestor of Shinrikyo, a doomsday cultist behind the Tokyo subway sarin attack in 1995. Yokai are a class of supernatural monsters, spirits, and demons in Japanese folklore. According to an old Japanese paper, Shinrikyo's followers were reported to have kidnapped locals in the forest, who were then sacrificed as part of cult rituals at a nearby shrine. This shrine in particular was originally created for a long-forgotten yokai, now presided by RPC-648-3, was believed to bring peace and prosperity throughout the nation. The Tokugawa government grew concerned with the cult's activities in Kawajiri Forest, but didn't intervene due to the rampant civil war with imperialist supporters. While it's unclear how RPC-648 manifested originally, the initial report of its anomalous nature dates back to 1868, when Daiji Shinrikyo and his followers fought against imperialist forces. Lieutenant Itagaki Toshizo was tasked to weaken the cult, which resulted in the shrine being destroyed and numerous casualties. Shinrikyo and his surviving followers committed seppuku and pleaded the yokai entity to grant a malediction upon the forest, sometimes referred to as harakiri, a form of Japanese ritual suicide. Further anomalous manifestations occurred in the 1940s, when the Imperial Japanese Army assigned Unit 274 to study RPC-648 and its anomalous properties. By late 1942, the location became an experiment facility for the Japanese Army, and many involuntary test subjects were experimented on with RPC-648. A mixture of locals and Allied POWs. These experiments ceased after the Assistant Director of Unit 274, Lieutenant General Akashi Yatsutsuna, ordered the location to be destroyed. However, the order was unsuccessfully carried out, as surviving documents revealed that after Lieutenant General Akashi Yatsutsuna sent out the order, Imperial Japanese soldiers experienced severe casualties from RPC-648-2 instances, when attempting to enact a scorched earth policy. By 1955, high-ranking members within the Japanese Defense Agency covered up the location and hid its knowledge from the Japanese government. The predecessor ministry of the Japanese Ministry of Defense, established in 1954. Addendum 648.03 Video Reconnaissance Logs. Attachment 648.03.1 Date August 4th. Blank. Team involved: Mike 9, Sierra Team. Begin log. Charlie 4-1. Charlie 4-1 to Sierra 1-1, you copy? Sierra 1-1. 5x5, Charlie, I've got you. What's the status in your area? Dark, cold, and lots of fucking bugs in the area. Sounds like you're having fun down there. Nah, fuck off. We'll see how you like it when you take over. Found anything down there? Besides trash and rough terrain? Negative. Alright, I'll let you be, Sierra. Charlie out. How off are we on the trail? Sierra 1-2. We're 20 meters away from the trail. Thank God we've got tape on us. Sierra 1-5. Unlike yesterday, you forgot the fucking tape, and we've been circling for 10 minutes straight. Sierra 1-1. Let's keep moving. Sierra 1-4. What are the chances of us finding a body this time? Sierra 1-3. Very slim. The previous exploration team haven't found any bodies since a week or so. Sierra 1-5. But if we do? Sierra 1-1. Protocol is to mark the location of the body, and have the morning crew take care of it. We don't want to agitate the fucking trees at this time of the day. Otherwise, we can expect our asses to be Sierra 1-1 is interrupted by a branch snap, causing Sierra 1-3 and 1-5 to react, and point their weapons at the sound. Sierra 1 team remains silent momentarily. Sierra 1-3. What the fuck? Sierra 1-2. Sir, I saw movement from where the sound came from. Sierra 1-1. Radio's TOC. Sierra 1-1 to TOC. Tactical Operations Center. Go for TOC. 1-2 spotted movement from a branch that snapped. Are any teams within our proximity? Negative. There is no team nearby within your area. We're going to investigate the source of the sound, and check back with you. Acknowledged. Approach with caution. TOC out. Sierra 1-3. You sure you didn't see some animal 1-2? No, I swear. I saw something that had a human shape. Sierra 1-1. 1-4, take point. Why do I have to take point? 'Cause I said so, now fucking move. Sierra 1-4 takes the lead. The rest follow behind him. Sierra 1-5. I'll watch our backs. Sierra 1-4. Sir, I see someone. Sierra 1-1. Hold! Hold! Sierra 1 team halts, and sets their eyes on an unknown figure. Sierra 1-1. Sierra 1-1 to TOC. We've got confirmation of an unidentified figure, 14 meters in front of us. Civilian? Unknown. We can't confirm status on the figure. Approach and detain if possible. Be aware for any of those trees in your area. Copy that. Sierra 1-1 out. Alright, let's go approach him. Sierra 1 team turns on their flashlight as they slowly approach the figure, weapons drawn at him. Sierra 1-5 in Japanese. Excuse me. This area is restricted to the public. Identify yourself. Not responsive. Sierra 1-1. What did you ask them? Their identification. Ask them about their current mood. Sierra 1-5 in Japanese. How are you feeling today? Unknown figure continues to be unresponsive. Sierra 1-2. Sir, permission to use non-lethal force? Sierra 1-1. Do it. We need to pull back to the checkpoint. Sierra 1-2 holsters her firearm, equipping a beanbag weapon, and points it at the figure. The figure swiftly turns towards Sierra 1-2, where it proceeded to attack, but is immediately gunned down by Sierra 1-5 and 1-4. Sierra 1-2. Fuck! Sierra 1-4 approached the downed figure, shooting 2 more rounds to their chest. Charlie 4-1. Charlie 4-1 to Sierra 1-4. Was that you guys shooting? Sierra 1-1. Yeah, that was us. Everything is alright at our end. We just had to terminate an affected civilian. Acknowledge. We'll meet you at the checkpoint. Charlie 4-1 out. Sierra 1-5 walks to the body and checks her pulse. Sierra 1-4. He's dead. Don't even bother. Charlie 4-1. Right. We're pulling back to the checkpoint. 1-5. Get him in a body bag. End log. Attachment 648.03.2. Date: September 17th. Blank. Team involved: Mike 9. Oscar Team. Begin log. Oscar Team paces down the trail, keeping their flashlights in front of the direction. Oscar 2-4. Radios TOC. Command. What was the drone's last known position? 2-4. Last known position of Firefly was at Grid Ref 227-148. Over. Received. We're close by Firefly's position. Let you know more once we get there. 2-4 out. Oscar 2-5. Why the hell do the drone operators keep sending Firefly to a magnetic field hotspot? Don't they have a marker for these areas? Oscar 2-1. They don't, since these magnetic field hotspots appear at random. They come and go. Oscar 2-5 interrupts. And we're the ones sent to retrieve it? Oscar 2-4. It's either a bunch of jumpsuit pussies who will try to escape, or professionals who follow orders and have the balls to do it. Oscar 2-4. I can't argue with that. Oscar 2-3's tracker on Firefly begin to flash, indicating that they're near the drone. Oscar 2-3. Sir, I've got Firefly's signal on my tracker. Oscar 2-1. Lead the way, 2-3. Oscar 2-3 takes the lead of Oscar Team, proceeding through the rough forest terrain, and eventually found Firefly stuck on a ditch. Oscar 2-3. Yep, found it. Oscar 2-5 slowly walks down the ditch, and checks out the condition of Firefly. TOC, Oscar 2-1, I need a sit rep. Oscar 2-1, TOC, we found Firefly in a ditch. Can you see us with the camera? Firefly's 360-degree camera turns towards Oscar Team, then to Oscar 2-2. TOC, confirmed. We've got visual on you. Oscar 2-2, what the hell is that? Oscar 2-2 glances at a branch wrapped around the drone's tracks. Hey sir, I've got something. Oscar 2-1, what do you got, 2-2? It's a branch, sir. It's stuck on Firefly's wheels. Can you remove it? I'm gonna try, though I need someone to help me out. Oscar 2-5, yeah, I'll help you out, 2-2. Oscar 2-5 helps out Oscar 2-2 as he gets down the ditch. Oscar 2-1 radios TOC on their situation. Oscar 2-5 and 2-2 struggle with removing the branch from the drone's tracks, but suddenly was interrupted when the branch extends and latches onto Oscar 2-5's torso. The branch begins to apply pressure and extract Oscar 2-5's skin and blood. Oscar 2-5, get it off me! Get it fucking off me! Oscar 2-2, fuck, hold still 2-5. The rest of Oscar Team get down the ditch to try to get the branch off around Oscar 2-5's torso. Oscar 2-3 takes out a knife and begins to stab the branch. In doing so, causes the branch to tighten more. Oscar 2-5 gasps and coughs for air as he loses unconsciousness and is crushed to death. Oscar 2-1, back up, back up! Oscar 2-4 begins shooting at the branch as it raises Oscar 2-5's lifeless corpse. The Firefly camera captures Oscar Team engaging the branch before the video feed gets cut off. End log. Addendum 648.04 Incident May 23rd. When an assigned team was dispatched to investigate reports of unusual activities occurred within the Kawajiri Shrine, said team failed to report back to command 15 minutes after they'd been deployed. A secondary team was sent to investigate. However, secondary team reportedly came under siege after encountering an anomalous entity. The following is a post-incident interview with Staff Sergeant Suzuki and Dr. Ishiba. Date: May 23rd. Interviewer: Dr. Nobuka Ishiba, Head Researcher. Interviewee: Staff Sergeant Hirobumi Suzuki, Alpha Team. Begin log. Staff Sergeant Hirobumi Suzuki. Takagawa has always been there for me and the team, especially in difficult times. He and I served in the same platoon, in the JGSDF, and now he's gone. Japan Ground Self-Defense Force. Dr. Nobuka Ishiba. I'm sorry to hear about Sergeant Takagawa, but are you sure you want to proceed with the interview? Staff Sergeant Suzuki pauses for a moment, facing down the table before looking at Dr. Ishiba. Yes, please proceed. Alright. Can you tell me why your team was sent to investigate the Kawajiri Shrine? We were sent by TOC to investigate the area for Echo Team, since they failed to report back for an hour or two. We've all assumed the worst, that Echo Team was missing, but I was confident that they were near a magnetic field hotspot. After my team geared up, we picked up the pace and headed out to the shrine. Did you encounter anything unusual while heading to the Kawajiri Shrine? Not that I can recall. We were staying on the trail as per protocol, but we drifted off the trail since it was faster to get there. Who led your team when you drifted off the trail? Charlie 4-5. He took point after 4-1 told him to. Did you eventually find Echo Team when you arrived at the shrine? Yeah, we found them alright, but they were dead. The area looked like a fucking massacre took place. What do you mean by that? There was data expunged. They were on the ground, trees, and near the shrine. It looked like they were engaging something, but we didn't know what they were shooting at. The smell of gunpowder covered the air with a rotten smell. I felt like I was going to vomit, but I held it back. Dr. Ashiba writes down notes. Listening closely to Staff Sergeant Suzuki. Charlie ordered us to search for any survivor, while he radioed command. I first had doubts that we would find any survivors, given how the bodies of Echo Team appeared mutilated. But we eventually found Echo 5-3. He appeared out of nowhere, and looked at us in tears and pain. I didn't know what to do. I was in shock at this point. He shouted at us to turn back or something, and then suddenly this woman appeared beside him, and sliced him in half with a katana. Can you describe this woman for me? She was in this Japanese robe, with some parts of her body with huge slash marks. Her eyes were bloodshot, and I was fucking scared. She looked directly at me with her unnerving smile. What happened next? I froze and stood still. I kept staring at her, until someone discharged her gun. I didn't know who shot first. Everything was happening so fast. Charlie 4-3 and 4-5 shot at her, but she dodged a bullet somehow. Someone screamed in pain and gunfire continued. 4-2 called me out. I looked at where he was, and he was already on the ground, bleeding. Did you discharge your weapon, Sergeant? I don't know. It was just happening too fast. Everyone was all of a sudden quiet. I was the only one. I don't know why she didn't kill me. I don't know. Staff Sergeant Suzuki goes silent. Sergeant? Yeah. Can you answer one more question? Go on. What happened after your team was wiped out? I don't know. All I can recall is just standing there. It was already morning, and Alpha Team came in and took me back to the checkpoint. That's all I can recall at this point. Thank you, Sergeant. You may go. End log. Additional notes. Staff Sergeant Hirobumi Suzuki was placed on temporary leave at the recommendation from Site-82 Psychology Department. However, a week after the interview, Staff Sergeant Hirobumi Suzuki was found dead in his home, having committed suicide via overdose. Addendum 648.05 RPC-648 interview. Shortly after the interview with Staff Sergeant Suzuki, Dr. Ashiba requested to conduct an interview with RPC-648 to see if they have any knowledge relevant to RPC-648. Interview was approved by Site Management, with consent from RPC-648's counselors. The following is the interview with Dr. Hirobumi Suzuki and RPC-648. Date: May 30th. Interviewer: Dr. Nobuka Ishiba, Head Researcher. Interviewee: RPC-648. Begin log. Dr. Nobuta Ishiba. Bows. Before we begin, do you need anything? Tea, coffee, or… RPC-648. Thank you, but I must decline. I am fine. Let us begin with the questions. Dr. Nobuta Ishiba sits down. Alright. What do you know about RPC-648? I am sorry. I am not familiar with the other numbers beyond my own. What is this 648 that you speak of? 648 is a location within the Hokkaido Prefecture. The area is called Kawajiri Forest, or in translation, the Sea of Dead Trees. Have you ever been there in your travels? RPC-648's eyes widen, and looks down. It has been a long time, but… that name. I remember something, and it isn't good. Do you have any writings on this forest? Of course. I have a copy of 648's file here. Dr. Ishiba passes the file to RPC-648. RPC-648 grows quiet upon reading the file. Oh no. I thought… No. Shiomi? Yes, I have been within this cursed area. I thought, at the time, I thought it would have been forgotten, starved away with the ages. But it's only thrived. How did you know about this place? I heard its sweet beckoning. I was so much younger, so much more naive. I had only recently departed my shrine. I was desperate to find Michio, my family. But enough time had passed that a part of me had begun to despair. That was how it called to me. You must understand, I was desperate, and I thought I heard the call of another yokai. I thought maybe it would have known where everybody else went. What did you do when you come into contact with 648? I went in. I thought I would meet another yokai, perhaps trade news, hopefully find a safe place to stay for the next few nights. I was so naive at the time, and in desperation I blinded myself to the corruption. I found a shrine, but I remembered nothing was clean about that shrine. Whoever lived there once did not hold the well-being of its human worshippers in its best interest. That original occupant was long gone, but instead, in that place, I met that woman. RPC-648 shakes her head. That was no yokai. Did you try and talk with this woman? I did, at first. Back when she stood so still, her back towards me. But it quickly became apparent that I was not speaking to any living human that could still bear a shred of reason within her mind. The way she began twitching and shaking, the way her neck snapped around to stare at me. The cold, dead rage within what was left of her rotting eyes. RPC-648 pauses before continuing. There was nothing left within her to reason with. Whatever was done to her at that shrine was so profane, so defiling. All that remained of her then is a spirit of mindless rage, trapped within a puppet of forever rotting flesh, driven to share her agony with any other living creature within catching distance. At the time, that was me. Good doctor, I imagine that is still the case until now? Yes. We made contact with this person you mentioned, and unfortunately lost 2 teens because of it. What happened after that? I fled, good doctor. Remember, I had no powers. The penalty of severing my shrine link was far stronger back then. Otherwise, I would have done whatever I could have to set her at peace, at best, or at worst, seal her away. Seal that forsaken land away. It took all I had of the most basic tricks and base powers I was born with in order to outwit and escape that woman, as well as the trees that responded to her cries for blood. But as I reached the border, she was waiting for me. She planted her sword in the ground, and bade me passage to leave. But there, she finally opened her mouth, calmly, to tell me one parting line. I still remember what she said to me. What did she say, Shiomi? RPC-648 composes herself from becoming too emotional. She said, I know why you have come here, Fox, and you will never have it. You will never succeed at your futile quest. You will die alone, unloved, forgotten. You will fill with despair, as loneliness takes you. You are doomed and cursed, and when that comes, you will take your life, or better yet, return to this very place when that time comes, and I shall strive to make it swift and painless, just for you. RPC-648 suddenly expresses anger, gritting her teeth and clenching her fist. She mocked me. She mocked me. It was those words that stabbed the deepest into my heart, more than any thrust of her sword or swing of those branches. Every time I fell into despair, those words rang in my head. But yet, at the same time, when I was about to end it all, I would also remember those words, and I refused them. Perhaps out of sheer spite, I refused to do as that ghast so boldly predicted I would. Do you wish to stop now? Or are you willing to continue this interview? No, not to stop yet. I need to know. I have to know. How many has she and her trees killed until now? How many were lured to their needless deaths? It's hard to say. We've estimated a few hundred over the last 3 years. RPC-648 visibly winces and clenches fist. All of this, because I lacked the strength to confront her then. Not even for a moment can I allow myself to hope for any of these victims dying swiftly, painlessly. RPC-648 glares towards Dr. Ashiba. You mentioned your own men have perished in this forsaken land as well? There must be something I can do to help, even from here. Please, allow them the benefit of my charms. I know exactly how to make these, to ward off against that evil spirit, and those bloodthirsty trees. I will discuss your offer with the others, and see what can be done. Thank you, Shiomi. End log.